Manchester United target's price falls by over £60 million after better than Kaka claim. While release clauses are not all that frequent at Manchester United or in the English Premier League as a whole, the same cannot be said of Spain's La Liga. Due to Spanish employment laws, as laid out by Forbes, everyone must have the right to pursue a change of vocation or location freely. This also applies to footballers, and goes some way to explaining why Paris Saint-Germain were able to snatch Neymar from under Barcelona's nose back in 2017. It also helps explain why Barca included a release clause in excess of £400 million in the much-coveted Pau Cubarsi's deal, ensuring that history is unlikely to repeat itself. And with Manchester United among the clubs reportedly keen on one of La Liga's most promising midfield talents, the €100 million clause in his own contract threatened to make Javi Guerra something of a no-go for a Red Devils side with financial fair play violations to stay clear of. The good news, however, is that Valencia will not be holding out for £86 million. Valencia, Team Talk say, are open to negotiations. Guerra, meanwhile, could even be allowed to leave the Mestalla for well below the £25 million mark, meaning his actual price tag could be over £60 million less than first feared. Manchester United can land Javi Guerra on the cheap. If that £100 million clause had Guerra's suitors running for the hills, then suggestions that he may be permitted to depart for a far lower sum should have them flooding back in their droves. Team Talk add that, in addition to Man United, Arsenal are also on red alert. Barcelona's sporting director Deco has launched an inquiry of his own. Guerra, who actually started his career at Castellan rivals Villarreal, has emerged as something of a leader in a very youthful Los Che dressing room, despite only being 21 himself. The Spain youth star has featured in 35 of their 37 top-flight matches, scoring 4 goals from his playmaking role. David Albelda, the Valencia legend, sees similarities between Guerra and the 2007 Ballon d'Or winner Kaka, even if the former is yet to discover the latter's knack for reliable goal-scoring. The Valencia youngsters have all shown signs because they have not been a flash in the pan. They are progressing. The one I see most established, in the first team, is Guerra, Albelda tells Cadena Cope. Javi Guerra, apart from everything he gives you and his scoring ability, is nice to watch for a fan. He is tall, fast, can dribble, and run back and forth. He is very interesting, both for us and, unfortunately, for the big teams. There is something he has better than Kaka, which is defensive work rate. Javi does it. He has a brutal physical potential. United's midfield overhaul is only just beginning. 6 feet 2 inches and possessing both the physical and technical qualities to play in a variety of roles, Guerra is one of many young midfielders reportedly on Man United's radar, with Casemiro, Christian Eriksen and Sofian Amrabat all expected to depart. Casemiro could be the subject of a £35 million bid from Saudi Arabia. Eriksen is out of contract in 2025. Amrabat, meanwhile, see not his loan deal from Fiorentina turned into a permanent transfer. Guerra is likely to come a lot cheaper, too, than Everton's Amadou Onana and Benfica's João Neves, to name but two. Nani raves about special player Manchester United may have to pay £86 million for. We really were spoiled as Manchester United fans, weren't we? Remember the days when Nani, despite winning 4 Premier League titles, the Champions League and finishing as #1 in the top flight's assist charts, had large sections of the Old Trafford fanbase wondering if he was truly good enough to continue a proud tradition of world-class wide men. It's fair to say Nani, let alone Ryan Giggs, George Best, David Beckham and Cristiano Ronaldo, would stroll into the Manchester United starting 11 these days. The good news is that, with Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo only 19 and 21 years of age respectively, and with a deal for Crystal Palace talisman Michael Olise feeling very achievable indeed, happier times should just around the corner for the United supporters pining for the days of dazzling wingplay. Manchester United eye Victor Gyökeres. The Red Devils are expected to bring in a centre-forward this summer to ease the burden on Rasmus Højlund in attack and form a new-look front line alongside Garnacho, Amad and Marcus Rashford. HITC reported that Man United have been keeping a close eye on Victor Gyökeres during the powerhouse Swede's stunning debut season at Sporting Lisbon. Gyökeres scored a frankly obscene 43 goals as Ruben Amorim's side beat Benfica to the title. And Nani, thrilled to see one of his former clubs thrive while another stutters, is in no doubt that Sporting have found a special player in the one-time Coventry City, Swansea and Brighton man. This season was perfect with Gyökeres finishing Sporting's moves, Nani tells Sport TV's Titulars program. He scored a lot of goals. I think he was the team's key player because you have to score goals to win games. It was a find. Sporting have an eye for finding a special players. A new striker is a priority at Old Trafford. Interestingly, Gyökeres is a player United's incoming sporting director Dan Ashworth knows very well too. The former FA chief worked with the 25-year-old briefly at Brighton, Gyökeres joining Coventry on a permanent basis at a time when the Seagulls, while fully aware of his potential, felt they could not offer regular first-team football. Gyökeres, a fearsome mix of pace, power and precision, is just one of a number of centre-forwards under consideration by Man United. He may also be one of the most expensive, with an £86 million release clause in his contract. And despite his obvious talents in the final third, 83 goals in the last 3 seasons, Gyökeres would arrive at Old Trafford still unproven in any of Europe's so-called top 5 leagues. The success of Ruben Dias, Luis Diaz, Bruno Fernandes after swapping the Primera Liga for the Premier League, however, may ease those concerns. And that's without mentioning a certain Champions League winning winger who, in hindsight, deserves a lot more respect for his achievements at Manchester United. Manchester United finally have chance to sign France midfielder after missing out in 2023. Manchester United will surely be in the market for at least one new midfielder this summer as Ineos approach their first summer transfer window. United have big decisions to make in the coming months, starting with the future of boss Erik ten Hag. The Dutchman is clinging on to his job at the moment and will be looking for a big FA Cup final performance to further prove himself to Ineos. Sir Jim Ratcliffe and co will be looking for major improvements both on and off the field, and we could yet see more hirings and firings. On the pitch, United clearly need help all over the pitch, and midfield is one real area of concern. Casemiro has endured a difficult season and could leave this summer, whilst Sofian Amrabat looks unlikely to stay permanently. Christian Eriksen could go too, so United need to have multiple midfield targets in mind for this summer. Monaco's Youssouf Fofana could leave after Manchester United interest. One player who could be on the United radar is Youssouf Fofana. United tried to sign the Monaco star last summer, but the League One side rejected the notion of a loan-to-buy deal. That left United to sign Amrabat instead, with Fiorentina willing to let him join United on loan. Fofana hasn't dropped off the United radar though, and reports in November suggested that a move to Old Trafford was still a possibility. The French international has shown the ability to play as a number 6 in front of the back 4, but also as more of a box-to-box player if required. That is the kind of player United need, and Fofana may well be available this summer as he prepares to feature for France at Euro 2024. Monaco director Thiago Scuro has been quoted by Fabrizio Romano as saying that Fofana is probably a player who can leave the club for the right offer this summer. He is probably one of the players that we are open to selling this summer, said Scuro. We will see the opportunities that he has, same for Guillermo Maripan, he added. That presents United with a real chance to go back in for Fofana, and a move seems pretty appealing. Fofana is only 25 but has racked up more than 140 league appearances for Monaco and 17 caps for France. Fofana's ability to play in different midfield roles is also attractive, as is the potential price tag, potential bargain fee for Fofana. Fabrizio Romano has now told Court Offside that he thinks Monaco will be demanding around €20 million, £17 million, for Fofana. United fans may be wondering why the fee is so low for a player like Fofana. The former Strasbourg man has been impressing for club and country but could be signed for less than £20 million. That is bound to raise question marks. The reason may be that Fofana is out of contract in 2025, and rather than risk losing him for nothing, they may cash in for a lower fee than they would ideally want. United clearly have Fofana on the radar, having targeted him last summer and ahead of the January window. Ineos may change some of the plans, but it would not be a surprise to see United go back in for Fofana this summer, in the hope of landing a bargain.